All right. So who do we have here? We have at least 5 people. I thought there was gonna be more people coming in. Lazy.
Yes.
Okay. So as you can see, I'm a very learned person. Um, and again, I'm at a coffee shop, so might be lots of noise. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna first start off with an AMA. So you guys can ask me any kind of coding questions you guys have.
Okay, I'll start. For the homework
Mm-hmm.
on um, the second part with the renumbering of the IDs.
So let me go to it. Lesson plans, sequelize, homework, instructions. Okay, so renumbering of the IDs. So you mean this?
Which
Did you want tier 1 or tier 2?
tier two.
Tier 2. Okay, so under tier 2.
And it says if you delete one through five, it's going to show up next time as 6 through 10, and you need to make it go back to 1 through 5. So, are these requirements saying that we have to completely decimate the entire database every single time something is deleted? Because that makes no sense.
Okay, so let me look through this first, make sure I'm on the right page. Okay, so now there are entering some dummy data using SQLite create a migration that bulk inserts at least 5 burgers into your database. Okay, so these IDs are automatically generated. Don't forget to define both up and down methods in migration file. This can be done again through the CLI. If you create data when running SQLize DB migrate, you need to be able to remove the data with SQLize DB migrate undo. In your down method, how can you make sure that the IDs of your burgers go back to the smallest available integer? For example, say that you have burgers in your database with IDs 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Running SQLize migrate undo will remove those burgers, but then SQLize DB migrate places them back into the database with IDs 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, even though there are no burgers with IDs less than 6. How can you stop this ID gap from occurring? Let me read that one more time. For example, say you have burgers in your database. Okay, so these are generated. Undo will remove them. Okay, but then SQLize places them back into the database with 6, 7, 8, and 9, even though there are no burgers with IDs less than 6. How can you stop this ID gap from occurring? Um, if you undo,
Based,
then actually, if you use a SQLize CLI, then that should happen by itself. Actually, so if you remove data, well, actually no, it'll continue from 6, 7, 8, 9, and
I'd
10.
asked Michael about it, and he said it sounded ridiculous to try to do this. Um, because it does, it's, if you remove one, like, say you have 5 items and number 3 got deleted, to be able to go back to not having any gaps, you would have to destroy your entire database.
Correct. No, that doesn't make any sense.
I understand why it's a requirement for the homework.
Yeah, normally I'd actually like to keep the state of the IDs, meaning that, okay, we remove these columns, or sorry, we remove these rows, and it would make sense to remove these rows with these IDs. Um, but I would prefer it continuing from ID 6. So I don't know why that's a requirement because normally in a database, if you remove rows, then you continue with the ID onwards. Because let's say that you wanted to put the data back in, uh, then, or not even put the data back in, but just to show like a record of what happened in the database that there were 5 rows,
Right.
you would want that to stay. So I don't like this requirement.
Me
uh,
either.
and I'm gonna have to look into this because it doesn't really make any sense to me either. So maybe they made a mistake somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, because that I've never seen an instance where you're supposed to redo the way that databases are created and set up and undo what how DB migrations work.
I mean, I did it in my Bamazon homework, so I ordered it up so that if you deleted something after like at the end, the next one would be the ID plus one, the length plus one, but you can't do it
Right.
in oh, we're moving.
Oh yeah, sorry, I just need to get my drink. I left it outside.
So what is your
I mean, I can think of ways to be able to like bring it out and like put it out again or put it back in, but it just wouldn't make sense in the way that databases work.
Okay.
Oh, you're such a good kid.
My students wouldn't think so.
Well,
Everybody loves you.
Robert Tropiano said so, from Boston.
All right. Hey, Barbara Topiana from Boston says that I'm a good kid.
Well, then it must be true.
Okay. Wow, she had a thick Bostonian accent. Okay. Yeah, I don't understand why they want you to do this. I'm trying to think, what would be a situation when you would need that to be done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like a nuclear option, I guess, where it's like, okay, that never existed, and you want to order things in a certain way, I guess. I still wouldn't do it that way because IDs are a unique identifier for rows that have existed or will exist.
Right, and what if you have, things tied to them, like you've now used the ID as a foreign key in another table, and then it's completely different. Like say you say delete number
Yeah.
3, but now number 3 is not number 3 anymore, it's something else.
Well, that should be associated with, if you delete one that's associated to another table, you should have something that cascades. So there's a thing called cascade delete in SQL.
Right, and I read about that, but if 2 people are deleting something at the same time, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, if 2 people are deleting something at the same time, what's going to happen is like a database lock. So if you have race conditions, meaning that if 2 people are trying to delete something and, it goes like, at the exact same time in the milliseconds and all that, then usually there's this thing called database lock. And they'll lock the database until like, one person performs it and the other person does it next. You have to unlock it, but generally that's very rare. In terms of cascade delete, it'll delete one and then it'll delete the next. It's not going to happen like simultaneously. So it cascades down into its dependencies, or whatever the relationships between the databases are, or not databases, sorry, the tables. So let's say that you had a customers and orders, right? If you deleted the customers, you should delete the orders associated with that customer as well, correct? Right. So now,
Unless you want a record of that.
I'm sorry?
Unless you want a record of that.
Unless you wanted a record of it, correct. So, let's say like a customer ordered this stuff, and it depends on how your database works, right? Like, let's say that if they ordered it within 5 minutes, then you want to delete everything because the order never really went in. So then that's just like, scrap data because it's a customer making an order and then just saying, oh, I just immediately want to cancel that. I want to redo a different order. So in that case, then you would say like, okay, well, I'm going to then do a cascade delete where I do the deletion of the customer so the row for that customer along with the associated rows in the orders table and the foreign keys, and of course, that go along with that row, right? So the orders have a belongs to relationship with the customers, and that's how they get deleted. So you just say like, okay, so any associations down the line, in this case, would get deleted. And again, I don't know why you'd want to make it so you'd have new associations. Like this would create a ton of problems if you if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to be like reenacted as different data. This messes up a lot of stuff, especially with foreign keys. So let's say that you didn't have what you said, which is like when you didn't delete data, and that's just kept there, and now you have another piece. You wouldn't want to do that because now, like, if someone were to look at the data, it would be like, oh, well, this guy is associated with this. It's like, well, not really. We created a new piece of data and we're reordering. It's like, why are you doing that? That doesn't make any sense. So I think for tier 2, we can ignore the challenge.
Yay!
Yeah. So if me and Michael both say that, then executive decision. That
Then it
doesn't
must
make
be
sense.
full.
It doesn't make sense. I wonder what their reason for that though is. Maybe I can maybe find out. All right. Any other questions? That was a good question.
I have a super quick question.
Yes, absolutely.
Since build off of the previous homework, should we, or should I, make sure that, would it be better to make sure I'm comfortable with the previous homework before moving on to this one?
Yeah, try and go through the solution and see if you can understand the code. And really break it down. Just be like, oh, okay, like this part did this part did this part did this. Because if you want to redo this part, then you're going to have to understand how the original worked, right?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's a good question.
Okay. Yeah, that was a very good question. So, any conceptual questions before we move on to, I'm just going to create an app from scratch.
Cool.
Any conceptual questions you guys want me to cover? Anything?
Oh, I have a Git question.
Okay.
Is it better to do git ignore at the beginning when you create a repository and click on that little option, or is it okay to add it later, and how would you do that? Because
Oh, that's a good question. If you add the git ignore later, will the original stay there in the commits? I think the original will stay there in the commits. And then if you try to push it in later commits, it be ignored in the later commits. So
it's better to do it at the very beginning.
it's much better to do it in the very beginning, because I think I don't think git ignore works recursively, meaning that it wouldn't be intelligent enough. I'm assuming it wouldn't be intelligent enough to go back and look at older commits and ignore anything that you've said, like in the git ignore file, to ignore. So it'd be much better, of course, to do it from the very beginning. If you do have sensitive information that you have committed up to your GitHub profile, you'd actually have to go back and just start deleting it from older commits, especially if it's public and you have sensitive information in there.
All right, cool. And thanks, Andy.
Mhm.
Oh, he's saying that he's tried it and it was a good experience.
Yeah, so definitely, yeah, doing that recursively. I mean, I guess there could be there are probably commands that you can do with Git, which would take things out, like a script that you can run or something, or a command from Git that's like complicated, where you can go down all older commits and remove any reference to that existing file. But again, that's really hairy.
All right, thank you. And
No.
I don't want to take any more time on that.
That's okay. I'm just here to answer questions about concepts and stuff. So,
I want to see you build an app.
do you really though?
Yes, I do.
I mean, does anyone really want me to do that though?
Yes, I do.
Pretty sure no one wants me to do this. All right, let's build an app. I want to build my game though. I'll just build my game. I'll just build a regular app. Okay. So, there's something called Super Butts in there. Forgot about that. Let me delete that. That was from my other class. Okay. UCLA practice. Let's create something. Let's create like some kind of e-commerce thing. Enter e-commerce thing. CD e-commerce thing. And in here, let's see, can I just do express scaffolding?
Can anyone see? I can't see the screen.
I'm sorry?
I can't see the screen.
Oh, is it, you can't see the screen at all?
Yeah.
You guys can't see this?
Nope.
Oh shit, I'm stupid. I was like, oh, you guys should be seeing everything that I'm seeing right now. Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So I just created e-commerce thing. I'm inside e-commerce thing, and next I'm just going to generate some Express files. So let me see, Express. Let's do some scaffolding. I don't need CoffeeScript. Some of these come with things that I don't need, so maybe I'll just do it from scratch. So let's go to Express. Let's see, does this create everything I want? Yeah, it creates some Jade files that I don't need, but I guess everything else is fine. Bin, we haven't really worked with like bin www, but it's pretty much the same thing. I don't want to confuse you guys, so let me just create this from scratch. Alright, so we're just going to use something similar to this layout. So what I'm going to do is make dir public routes, views, controllers, models. Let's see, we have views, controllers, models, public. Probably missing some stuff, but take a look at that when we get to it. Inside public, I'll make, let's see, images, public, JavaScript, public, style sheets. Okay, and views, I don't need the views yet. I will need handlebars. So I will need layouts. So views, layouts. Oh, shit. Make their views, layouts. Does anyone know what I'm doing right now? Everyone on the same page, or you all confused about what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just setting up the directory structure right now. So let me see here. Okay. So then from here, I think that should be good. So now I'm going to do npm init. And what does that do?
It creates the blank npm directory structure.
Well, essentially all it does is create,
JSON file.
yeah, the package.json file. So I'm just going to leave all this. Author, I'm just going to put Omar Patel, license, that's fine. I could do npm start as a script, but I'm just going to keep it as simple as possible. Okay, so now let's do sequelize init. Oh, npm install might help if we use the package sequelize. Cool. Alright, so when I did the npm install sequelize, it just added to node modules, so now I do sequelize init. And it did all these things, right? So it created this migrations folder, it created this seeders folder, and it created this models folder. Along with the folder, it created a config.json, and inside models, I should see index.js file. So if I go to models, holy shit, we have a lot of folders now. So we have this index.js. So why don't we take a look at what we've created so far. We created this giant application now, right? Now, this might look really confusing, but essentially, this is still just a node application with very few things inside of it. If you go to controllers, there's nothing there. Migrations, nothing there. Models, nothing there. And migrations, I guess let me take it one step at a time. So our config is going to contain our environment configurations, and this is just for connecting to our different databases with MySQL or any SQL-based database. So we set our environments to be development, test, and production. Right? So from there, we have our controllers. Our controllers are going to be what the routes are going to send the information to when a request is being made. Our migrations are going to be generated automatically when we create a model using SQLize CLI. So when I do something like, well, I'll get into it in a bit. Models are going to be generated as well. We're going to be using the SQLize CLI, and we're going to modify our models when we create them. So this just generates essentially a template version of our models and a template version of our migrations. And if we want to customize them, we can go ahead and customize them. Of course, we have our giant fucking node modules folder, which has a ton of shit in there we don't really care about. That's going to be taken care of by itself. Shit. One thing I did not do is SQLize. Well, I don't know if I need SQLize to be saved. Do I? Yeah, I don't think I need it once it's done. I don't know if I need it. Public. This is going to be our static directory. So our static directory is going to be what serves up information as soon as it's requested. So this is just going to be something that we can put all of our front-end information in, except for our generated views. Our generated views are going to be through handlebars templating. So if you want to use handlebars, I suggest like today we just really just get into like all the stuff we learned and put it into one application. So public is going to contain images, front-end JavaScript, and style sheets. And these can be just linked to each other, just how you normally link to files. Routes are going to be a folder where once our request is being made, it's first going to hit our route files. And then once it goes to routes, then it will go to controllers and then model if needed. From there we have seeders. Seeders are if you wanted to seed the database with SQL information. Like let's say that you had a database and you wanted to seed it with like 500,000 rows across different tables of information just to use. You can put it there. We haven't really worked with that yet, so don't worry about it. And views, this is where we're going to put our view part of the MVC. So we work with this when we're working with handlebars. And our package.json, again, this is just generated when we do npm init, and this contains our configuration information when we first start up. So everyone, I'm sure, is completely and thoroughly confused by now. Hopefully it's not too bad. Let's see, this index.js is going to refer to
Quick question: Are you recording this right now, Omar?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Hey, Omar, real quick. On the scripts, whenever you want Node to start first, if you don't put that there, Heroku does it automatically, right? If you want that server.js to start up your app, if you don't put it
over here, it'll check for which file you want it to run. Yeah, so it will launch the server for you. As long as you put it in the correct environment variables. Like this takes care of a lot of stuff for you, like SQLize. Let's see if it does it. Environment, process, environment, node environment. This is for MySQL, and then for server.js, we're going to have to do it on our own. So let's take care of that. So let me just get one of the files from one of our older homeworks, or one of the older files. So. Again, don't reinvent the wheel, just copy paste. Let's see, 15. CV 15.3. CV activities. And server.js. public assets. Oh, they have it under assets. Anything else? Oh, we actually did start using bin www. Was bin used in class?
I think we only seen it when that bcrypt came in.
Okay, bin actually, well, your www file, it's meant to handle certain tasks, and this is meant to, again, separate your logic. So you could have put this before in server.js, but instead what happens is this takes care of your app running. Instead of putting it in server.js, you're separating your logic again. So you're saying like, okay, make the app run and do it through bin www. So I guess we did cover it. All right, let's just do that then. So I'm going to create another folder. I have a shit ton of folders. And now this is like a fully developed like MVC application, by the way. So mkdir bin cd bin, and then touch www, and then now we should have this www file. And then this gets launched whenever you run server.js. So what it does require is, let's see, the server.js file. Let me just go from beginning to end because I don't think we covered this yesterday and it's really important. So Express can launch a www executable. So that's just this file over here, www, to handle certain tasks. So let's say that we wanted some tasks that don't belong in server.js, but we don't know where else to put it. And we're like, oh, okay, well, it makes sense to put in www. And this isn't stuff that you want necessarily to be like, shown. It's like something that's like hidden. So sometimes it'll be put into a hidden directory. And it's just basically all like the configuration stuff again, where it's like, okay, if we wanted to include debug from Express, if we want to bring in the app we exported from server.js, bring in the models we exported with index.js, and we set the port of the app, and then we sync the models with our database, and then we set the server to listen to this point. And this is going to happen every single time, no matter what. So if this happens every single time, then why put it in something that we're trying to change a lot, which is in the server.js file, which is like, your main file where everything gets hit, and is generally like the main part of the application that gets executed. So this is like a background file that will run, and it will generally take care of certain things for you. So it'll sync the models from the database and then just set whatever port you want to listen to. And this should take care of what port you're going to listen to either on production or on development. So that's this part over here. So these are now like background processes that you don't really have to worry about, and your server.js is going to take care of like other stuff. Any questions about that? Anyone here? Wait, shit, is anyone here? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, so no questions about it?
No.
Cool, all right.
No, it seems to make sense.
Okay.
We didn't go over it though.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but I'm glad that we're actually going over it, because when you actually use the Express generator, it'll create this file for you, and if I didn't go over it, you might be like, what the hell is this? And like, why is it like that and everything? So it's good that we go over it. Again, this whole thing can be done in one file, right? We're abstracting our logic. We don't want everything to be in one file, so we're separating our logic. We want to be able to work with multiple people at the same time. We want to be able to scale our application. We want the logic to be separated, so that's why we're doing it like this. But remember how we started off when we had it just like, in one file. Remember our original like Node.js file? Like we had like just a server.js and like several weeks ago when we first started working with Node and everything. So from there, we've now gone into abstraction layers, using additional modules to help us abstract more things, to help us do things that we could have done manually. And instead of doing them manually, now we're doing them using modules, and we're using layouts, and we're doing this to help us scale and to help us work with other people and to do things more efficiently. So again, if you're creating a very small application like a calculator or something that just goes up and is like a static site, any kind of static site, you don't want to use Express, you don't want to use Node. It's just not necessary to have all this stuff. It would be much easier to use just static HTML files and then just with some basic JavaScript on the front end or something. If you need something that will scale, you need something like with database integrations. If you need something that multiple people can work on at the same time, you're going to have lots of models, you're going to have lots of views, things like that. Then it makes sense to have this MVC. And that's why we're going into this in this structure, is that this structure can help you create like giant applications that like Facebook has and things like that. Where you have something that lots and lots of people can add on to, can build, and you're not going to have too many issues, or it'll help mitigate those issues where you have conflicts between different developers working on the application and everything like that. So this is where you get into like real engineering of large scale things, or even medium scale things actually. Okay, so we also have the server.js. So again, I'm just going to do a copy paste because I'm lazy. CD, so I have all these things, so I'm just going to do touch server.js. So my server.js is in there, and I can check that if I go to Sublime, and now I have this empty server.js. I'm just going to copy all this into there. This is not my cat solution anymore. I don't need this. Again, these are just dependencies that we've decided are dependencies. Cookie parser is going to be if you need to work with cookies. Not sure. I'm probably not going to be working with cookies in this one, so I don't need that. And in order to actually require all these, I need to have them installed. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm just going to cheat and go to package.json. I want a favicon. That's just the image for my site. Morgan. We're not really working with Morgan. Let's just include that though. We're not going to be working with bcrypt. So I'm just going to copy most of this and I'll delete whatever I don't need. Oh wow, nothing's done. Okay. We didn't even set up our dependencies. So let me just copy this. Okay, so we have bcrypt. So I'm going to take out bcrypt. I'm going to take out cookie parser. I guess I can leave debug in there. Morgan, I don't really need. I'm just going to take that out. SQLize, CLI, serve favicon. Okay, that should be good enough. All right. So now what do I do once I have everything in my package.json? All my dependencies set. Anyone?
SQLize in it.
Is it SQLize in it?
No, npm install. Right?
Yeah, npm install. So if I do npm install, then what it's going to do is it's actually going to look at my package.json, and it's going to install all of these dependencies along with any of the dependencies of these dependencies. Meaning that if body parser requires a whole bunch of other modules, it'll install those as well. So we do that. And Jesus Christ. There we go. So we have a bunch of shit in there now. I have Sequelize init, so I have models with index.js. Now I want to start setting up. Should I set up my views or my models first? I guess I'm going to set up my models first. Actually, no. Let me set up my views. Okay. So in my server.js, I've set different application controllers. So because I copy pasted it, I don't think I'll need a cats controller. Just because it's going to be an e-commerce site and I'm not going to be selling cats. So what I will need is, let's see, what would we need if we had an e-commerce site? We have customers, so customers controller, and we have an orders controller. And I'm going to change this as well. So customers and orders. It's going to be a very basic application. I don't care about cookies right now. I'm gonna keep this simple. So we're initializing our Express application by using this var app equals Express. We could have named this whatever we want, but convention is to use app. From there we have our middleware that we're using called method override. Can anyone tell me what method override does? What does it allow us to use?
Delete and put.
I'm sorry?
It allows us to do delete and put.
Exactly, yes. It allows us to do delete and put. So if I have some kind of HTML form and I did like action equals, blah, slash meow, and then I did something like method equals, and I did puts, or I put delete, then, and again, this would be on the view, then what happens is, even though my method is actually set to, I don't know, post, what happens is this gets overridden by whatever's contained inside method using this middleware. So this converts it to delete. So this actually gets converted to this. So instead of going to, I don't know, this is setting up routes in a different way. This is actually a good way of setting up routes. So instead of going to like, get, post for this meow, it'll actually go to delete, which is the correct one to go to. So it sets up the routing correctly for the HTTP method. All right. Anyone confused about that? Anyone want me to go over that one more time? You guys can post to general, I guess, if you guys have questions. We're good? I'm hearing like dead silence, so I'm just going to assume we're good.
Yeah, we're good, man.
Good.
Good? Okay, cool.
You are good.
Okay, cool. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use this Express Handlebars module. So Handlebars is a templating engine that can work with like any framework, any language that's on the web. So, I mean, I think any, like, it's probably limited to some, but you can use it across Ruby, across Java, across a whole bunch of different things. So we're using it specifically with Express. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, we're going to use the Node module for Express Handlebars. And the Node module for Express Handlebars works a little bit differently. So it has this default layout, and we set that default layout as main. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that default layout inside of this layouts folder. So because we have that, I'm going to go inside here. So I go into views, I go into layouts, and I create main.js. Oh, sorry, not main.js, main.handlebars. And now our application will understand that we're using handlebars as the templating engine because we're setting it here and we're setting the engine to this. So now it recognizes, okay, all of our views are going to be coming from the handlebars suffix files. So it recognizes these kind of files and it delivers our information in that format as well. Okay, so your favicon, this is going to be like whatever your image is going to be for your application. I don't really care, so I'm not going to really care about that right now. Are we using Logger? No, I'm not going to use Logger. I don't care about debugging too much right now. I just want to create a basic application. What I do want is the ability to take any information that's sent via like post, put, or delete and convert that into whatever format it started off as. So body parser allows us to do that. And it appends it to, again, our request.body. So if we have app.get and we have, I don't know, this, then what happens is rec.res, something like this. Then what we can do is we have access to the body and we can say, oh, okay, well, you know, if something else was sent in, like, you know, boogers, then we can access boogers and it'll be in the format of whatever we set the available formats to be sent in. I don't care about cookie parser because I'm not going to work with cookies. And the only two formats that I'm accepting that will be converted into these formats are JSON and URL encoded. So if something comes in inside of a URL, then I have that via a URL encoded format or JSON format if it came in as JSON. So when I access that information via like request.body.boogers or whatever, then it comes into that format. Now, I also have the ability to just like, you know, get the information as just string, but that wouldn't really like help, especially if, you know, if you have it as a string, I mean, that's fine. But what's going to happen is you're going to have to parse it on your own without having the ability to use the existing Express functions or methods that enable you to then like, you know, separate the information like request.body.params. Or is it request.params? I keep forgetting. But anyway, it would allow you to actually go through this information just like you would like as if it was like a JSON object or URL encoded and all that stuff. So you'd be able to access that information in whatever format you wish. But if you had a string that was sent in like without using body parser, then what happens is you'd have to do some like fancy JavaScript to be able to take that information and extract it and then like put it into something else and all that stuff. So body parser really helps with making things a lot easier. And if you want to read more on it, you know, body parser has like a whole bunch of documentation and everything too. All right, so now we have this express static path.join. Again, directory name just refers to a directory that is where your node server was called originally from. So this refers to server. So it'll be node. Let's see. I was in my local machine, so it'll be e-commerce thing / public, and that's what this resolves to. So static is the only middleware module that comes with Express. Everything else is something that you'd have to add, like body parser is like something that we had to like install. And what static does is it will just serve back anything inside public, right? So it's not going to do any kind of processing on it. If someone does an app.get for anything inside public, it will just immediately return back. Nothing, there's no processing, and it's implicit. I don't have to explicitly write, you know, app.get, post, app.put, app.delete, or anything like that. Everything is just app.get for static files. You guys with me so far? This should be review,
Yeah.
but yeah, it is a lot of stuff. All right, so next what we're going to do is we're actually going to set the routes for our controllers. So Our application controller is going to be our main controller. So we're going to leave that as it is. Our customers controller. So customers, and we have orders controller. Okay. Okay, if there's an error, then we just spit back a 404 message. This is again another error handler, so you guys can just copy and paste this. This will be the same every time, and then we just export our app. So our app contains all of this information, right? It has app.use, app.use, app.use. So wherever we want to use it, it's going to occur. So from here, let's see how they made it. Because this is our last one that we worked on. Should be the most fresh in our heads, but probably not. Okay, so we have our CATS controller, application controller. So our application controller is going to take care of our default path, which is just any path without any other paths associated with it. So /, we can do whatever we want with this. So for me, what I'm going to do is, what do I want to do with this? Should I redirect? Let's see. So first I need a application controller, .js, controllers. I'm just going to paste that in there. And instead of going to CATS, I guess I can just redirect it to customers. In real life, it would just more than likely be like a static file, since this should refer to like an index.html. But in this case, we're just going to follow the same syntax. Actually, you know what? No, I'll just redirect it to a static file. So redirect to, and can I just do static, which is, where is it? Oh, we don't have an index yet, huh? Alright, so I have to set up some more view files. So instead of a static, maybe a view layout. So I'll do like an index.handlebars. So I'll just copy this. And save this as index.handlebars. And that's going to be in views, and it's just going to be in the root for views. And just log in to add a person, blah, 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 blah. I don't really want most of this. I'm going to get rid of most of this. And our main.handlebars should just be like something very basic. So our main.handlebars, let's see. Oh, we actually have authentication using like cookies and whatnot, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. Get rid of this, get rid of that, this. I don't really care about this either. I'm going to call it stuff. Okay. So, let's see. Can I just go here, and I don't care about if logged in. And we're going to call this customer or e-commerce store. thing. And maybe we can put orders create so we can use that later. Okay. So I went through a whole bunch of stuff really quickly. So essentially all I did was update the main.handlebars to make it simpler. I don't need too much stuff in there right now. I just need my body. And I want this to be templated because I don't want to repeat that in here. So all of this is going to be outputted. The index.handlebars is going to go into here. And that's going to be served up. So in order to serve that up, I'm going to trace my application. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to say, well, if I go to /, so if I went to my site, which is, if I had it on my local at 3000, and I didn't add any path to it, it should go to the application controller. So we go to the application controller, and then it says, oh, okay, well, I just wanted to redirect to something else. So let's see if this allows me to just redirect to the file index. Not sure if that'll work though. Give me a second. Cats controller. Redirect. No, that's a path. Redirect. This is salting it. We have our model. Our model just takes care of this part. Our view should then handle. Where's the part where it handles the routes? There's no routes in here. So all the routing is taken care of by the controllers. I wanted it a little bit different, where I wanted the routing to be taken care of by routes. But I guess this one that we had last, it's actually being done by the controller, which I guess is okay.
Yeah, that's the way it was set up last time.
Which is which is okay.
What's the other way of doing it though?
Well, you use the routes folder to actually have like routing files, and then that routing file then sets like which controller to go to. So another layer of abstraction. Let's see, render.
But I thought you set the controllers inside of the server.js file already.
The controller isn't. The controller is being referenced to the server.js file. Now, what I normally would have done is have the server.js instead go to routes, and then the routes control where, like, which controller to go to.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, so this is redirecting. Okay. All right, so let me try running this first, make sure everything works. I'm sure that there's like 1,000 errors that I made. Okay. If it works, then there's something wrong. Server.js. Can't find Morgan. Oh, that's because I don't want Morgan in there anymore. So npm install. Let me see. Where is Morgan in here? Ah, there we go. We don't need Morgan. Customers controller. Did I name it wrong? Oh, we never added a customers controller. Okay, so let me just blank those out for now. Yes, I know that. Server.js 47. Ah, okay. Okay, so this isn't referencing this bin. Why isn't referencing the bin? Excellent. Server.js. Yeah, bin. So bin should open this up. App.get port. Correct. We just did this yesterday. App.get port. Sequelize port 3000. Oh, is it not automatically setting it? Okay. Sorry, give me a second here. Here we go. I think this is what I needed. So I need to actually start it with bin www instead of starting the server on its own. Okay. So I just go back. And okay, I already have that in there. So if I just hit npm start, oh, that already took care of it for me. Cool. Okay. I thought I had to do that manually. So okay, so the issue was that I was trying to start this server. Oh no, actually this is my monster game. Sorry. So I actually don't have it in here. Package JSON. Yeah, so I don't have it in there. Okay. So what I actually needed was this start. And if I do that, now instead of me doing node server.js, all of my starting thing just happens with npm start. And when I hit npm start, it'll execute this node, and it'll find in the current directory this bin, and then it'll execute this www executable file. So now, hopefully it should work. There you go. So now it works. Now if we go to our localhost 3000, view error in views directory. Excellent. God damn it. Okay, so let's take a look at what went wrong. Views directory, e-commerce things, views. E-commerce things, views. So our server is loading now, but it doesn't recognize our handlebars. Oh, I think I know what I did. Hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. Redirect. This is just render. Okay. It should just render it. Okay, hold on. Let me take a look at my other application.
I think the main handlebar should be outside of the layouts, right?
No, it's inside layouts. It should be inside layouts.
Oh.
What am I doing?
I thought it was outside of layouts, inside the views, and then you put your layouts and your other ones in the layouts.
No, it's supposed to be inside layouts.
Okay.
So I'm doing something stupid. What am I doing stupid? What am I doing stupid? Can anyone see what stupid mistake I made? I can't tell what stupid mistake I made yet. Config JSON. This works.
Do you need to redirect to an actual page? What are you calling things?
I have index.js, home, res.render. Yeah, that's what I did. This is dumb. I thought that's what I did. Maybe it needs additional index? Huh.
I think you're missing your index.handlebar file. Or do you have
Right
one?
here. Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, you do. Okay.
It's under
What do
view.
you have in there though? I don't see any. Oh wait, go back to the index.
Let's see here. What am I
Is
missing?
there brackets in the index?
I mean, this is exactly what I have on my other application, and it works just fine. So, the
Would it
joys
be a
of
problem
programming.
that you have two index files? You have two index.js files.
No, it's index.handlebars, and I'm setting the rendering engine to handlebars, so it should be fine. Rendering engine, I did set it to handlebars, okay. What the hell?
Do you have the double brackets in your index.handlebar? Where's the double brackets at?
I'm not importing anything in here, so it's not actually...
you're not putting anything in there?
No, it's not putting anything. This goes inside the main. So this actually goes in here.
Yeah, but you don't have any double brackets inside your
Right, but
file.
I shouldn't need to. That's the thing.
Oh, you
so
don't...
I'm doing something stupid, but I can't tell what stupid thing that I'm doing. See, this is my regular home.handlebars file, right? In my other application. So this one actually works. And I have my layouts. And I have a main.handlebars file in here, and I have a home.handlebars. In here, I have two routes. Oh, I actually have this created. I could have just used this as an example. So this is one that actually works. And I have routes. So my app.js is like the server.js. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch it to my game one. Because there's something stupid I did, and I can't figure out exactly what it is. So this is one that works. And this has a bin www1. It has almost the exact same thing inside. This is all generated stuff. So when I did like an express generator along with the Sequelize init and everything, then it just created all this stuff for me. I have my main.handlebars, and that's just very basic. I have a home.handlebars, again very basic. My app.js file, instead of controllers, I have routes. So this is the way I wanted to do it instead of the other way. So what I did was, if I go to this application, this app.js, so the first thing that happens is this gets run when the node module starts up. Then this gets run. And I have all of my requires. I'm requiring these two routes as well. I'm requiring express handlebars. I'm doing the exact same thing as I did before. So the only thing different that's between this monster game and the other one is that I'm using routes and I'm requiring them. Again, this one is using cookie parser. I don't really care about using cookie parser. And I'm using middleware. Again, the same thing as we did for this one, which was app.use. But again, instead of going to application controller, it'll go to routes. So / goes to routes. So over here, if you go to routes, it'll go to the appropriate one. So routes has been set to routes/index. So this just refers to this index.js file. And what happens is when you go to / it'll just render this home page. And that's all it does right now. You can have additional things that'll do like, put, post, delete, all that stuff. But right now, all it's doing is /. So this one should work. So why don't I go to the monster one? Because, I don't know. If anyone figures out what I did wrong, it's going to be something stupid. So
in your routes file, is that where you do all your Sequelize stuff?
My routes is not where I do like Sequelize. The routes is it sends your information to wherever you want it to send to. Normally, I would actually have one routes file that directs it to which controller to go to, and the controller then directs where to go.
It does the Sequelize. Okay.
Yeah. So here, let me open up this one. So if I do no or npm start, this one should work. If it doesn't work, then I'm screwed. Yeah, so that works. And I'm not sure why this one works and the other one doesn't. I thought they were almost exactly the same. So again, probably like some weird syntax error that I put in there and I can't figure out. So we have our app.js file, and this is essentially just our server.js file. we have the same exact things as we did before. Again, error messages, error messages. You can just copy and paste those. We're exporting the app. The only difference between the application I had before and the application that I have now is that I'm using routes. And instead of, let's see, what was it? Instead of orders and instead of customers, I have users. So if I go back to app.js, and if I look at app.use, and if someone went to /users, it's going to hit the users one. So, oh shit. If I go to /, now it goes to this example app. So to prove that this is the same app, I can go and do yo gabba, and the error is going to bug the shit out of me because I have no idea what I did wrong. So if I was using Notamon, then I wouldn't have to do this. It would just detect changes and automatically respond to them. But I'm not, so I have to restart my server, and when I restart my server, the changes appear. And the same thing happens now if I go to my routes. So right now my routes are essentially acting like controllers, whereas I actually do want this information to instead be inside of my controllers. So that is something that the number 7 has. It doesn't have a routes file, but it does have controllers. So controllers essentially act as a way to interface with the model and direct where the information flow is supposed to go. Routes determine which controller to go to, and that's all it's supposed to do. So I guess for now, don't worry too much about routes. What I'm going to do is, let's see if we can take some of this logic out. So I'm going to create a, let's see, do we have an example of routes with controllers? I don't think we do. Did we go over routes with controllers by any chance? Does anyone know?
No, I don't think we did.
Okay, so
they just put the routes in the controller.
Okay, so let's just forget about routes then. So I'll just take out routes, and I'll just create controller. So, sorry, this is kind of just all over the place because stuff isn't working. Is anyone getting lost because of this, by the way? Because I had to switch to another application. Do you guys want me to like explain things again? Yes, no, maybe so.
No, I think we're good.
Yeah.
You guys sound so hopeless right now. Like, no, everything's fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create controllers, CD controllers, ls into it, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to do touch application controller. Oh, shit. Touch application controller dot JS. Okay. So I'm going to switch it from my routes to controllers. So I'm going to go to app.js. And this is literally what I just did with the other one, but let's see why it doesn't work. So I'm just going to take this information out of here and just put it in my application controller. So now if I rerun it, it should work the same. Application control. Oh, right. Alright, so that should take care of it. And the error as well. Fuck you. Controllers. Okay. This is fun. Okay, so now if I do this, exact same thing. Cool. So I just switched the logic between routes and controllers. Anyone have questions about what the difference is and what I just did? So I'm not using this anymore. I won't need this whole folder, so well, let me just copy this, put into customer controller.js, put that into, where the hell is controllers down here? And I can get rid of my routes folder. And I can get rid of this. And now we're doing the same thing as we did in class. Let's see, monster controller? No, it isn't. Customer. And what's another one that we need? Our last controller? If we're mapping to a model, and there are the main one, which is application, if we have customer, and then we have orders. So what's our final controller?
Do an order?
Yeah, so an order controller, correct. So we have our order controller. And what I'm actually going to do is wipe out everything from the old one, because I don't want to keep using this monster game, because I actually want to create a game off of this. What's it called? Okay, so hopefully, so now I'm going to migrate this back to my old application. So I'm essentially just going to wipe out whatever I had in wherever the hell I was before. What was it called? It's a stupid name.
That doesn't narrow it down.
It was a stupid name. No, I have amazing names for most things. This one's a stupid name. Okay, e-commerce thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to nuke this. RM, RF, e-commerce thing. I'm just going to duplicate my old one. I'm not going to do that through Unix. Let me just copy it. I still don't know what I did wrong to not make the other one work, because I thought I did the exact same thing, and I literally just worked on this yesterday. And it has the exact same structure, so it's very strange. If anyone figures it out, bonus and imaginary points. Alright, so now we have Monster Game Express. We're going to name it JK Express, or e-commerce game, or e-commerce thing. Okay. So now if I go into JK, open this up, now let me make sure that everything is kosher in here. So if I just copied it over, it might fuck things up. Yeah. So let me remove models. There we go. Synchronize. Cool. Okay. So now we should be good. And the reason I wanted this is because I want to share this with you guys at the end, so you guys can mess around with it. And that way, hopefully, it should make things easier. Like if you have something to like correlate with, rather than me just like recording it and then you guys just like figure it out on your own. So we have everything in here. I don't need to do npm install because I brought in my node modules with me, so that should be okay. From here, I have views, Sublime. Okay, so now that we have our application done, we have a controller for each. Oh, we're missing one of the controllers though. Can you guys tell me which controller I'm missing?
Order controller.
Order controller, right. So when we create that, we'll go to customer, and I'll just go to new, and then this is going to be order controller. Crap, my battery's getting low. Hold on, give me a second. Son of a bitch. Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we're going to say this as order controller, and this one is not going to do that. So application is going to be that. This one is going to be get customers. This one is going to be orders. And we don't necessarily need an orders router or a controller for that, just because, you know, this is only if we needed to go to the orders page. And again, that could just be stuff that exists in the background. We would need a model for it though, because if we are going to have a database, then a model needs to map to that database. But an order controller can just be as simple as, okay, just go to the model itself and then just return this information. So now that we have 3 controllers, let's start generating some models and migrations. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to develop some migrations. So I'm going to use the Sequelize CLI. So I'm going to use Sequelize, I'm going to use model create, and I want to create a customer. So now we have to think about the database design. If our customer is going to have a lot of orders, then the customer has to have a name. The customer, what else would they have? Let's see. First, we can just name this customers. Is it customer? Customer, yeah. And then let's set, okay, so we have attributes. So we have, let's see, name, and that can just be a type string. What else could we have? Let's take a look at what customers table. Customers table. Other tables. I'm just trying to think, like, if we had a customer's name, phone number, I guess. By the way, this is the kind of relationship we're going to have with order. You guys don't have to worry about order, item, and product. We're going to keep this as simple as possible, but this is a graphical representation of the different tables in the database. So one is the customer. The customer then has a has many relationship with order. You can see that with the crow's feet sign over here. That means a customer can have many orders, but a order cannot necessarily have multiple customers because the customer, the order is just like one-way relationship. So this is actually a cool way of doing it. There are different design sites that allow you to do this kind of shit, but I don't remember what they are. Let me see, contact name. Let's just put name and phone number. So I think that'll be it. Okay, so we work at Korean barbecue or some shit, and all we need is their name and phone number. So let's go here, and we do name. And then I forgot, is it just spaces in between?
Yes.
Okay. I'll put string, or should I do int? If I do int, then nah, I'm just gonna save that string. In case there are any like zeros in front or some shit like that. Okay, so I hit enter, and of course everything breaks. I think I wrote my attributes wrong.
Yeah, you wrote attribute.
Is there supposed to be a comma? I keep forgetting the syntax.
I think you did 2 dash dash attributes.
Ugh, this annoys. Oh, I did. Okay, cool. So that worked. And now if we look at our migrations and models, we now have a customer.js model, and we have a migration with an up and a down. So this part is probably something that you guys are confused about because we just started working with this. So migrations, again, they just help you update the database schema, and it can help you recreate the database from scratch and in order of which migrations occurred. So these each have a timestamp on them, so it tells you exactly when it was created, and how the database is recreated is based on these timestamps. So if you have a whole bunch of migrations, and again, every time that you run the SQL CLI command, it will generate these migrations for you. You don't necessarily have to use the CLI to generate these migrations. You could have just done this manually by creating this migration and then you know, doing this model as well. But it's much, much, much better to do this automatically because it saves a lot of time, and it, you know, generating this on its own is probably much more secure. Any questions so far? Really? Everyone's okay? I just covered a shit ton of stuff. Okay. All right. No one speaks up. I'm just going to assume that everyone's okay. All right, so our up will create the database, and down will undo any of our information, right? So if we did like, you know, db migrate, it'll perform this, the up. If I do db migrate undo, it'll perform the down. So we don't need to do that yet. What we want to do is first make sure our model is good. and we actually want to generate another model as well. So let's take a look at order. So what we want to do is we actually want to create this order model as well, because we want to associate customers with this order. So what we do is we go to our SQLize CLI. Now order is going to have some more stuff in it. So order is going to have, well, first let's change this to order. Now what's going to be inside order? It's like name of item? Yeah, name of item. Cost? Put that as string as well. Or actually, yeah, shit. I just want everything as string for right now. Order, name of item, quantity, and that can be integer. Let me just check to make sure it's int or integer. Yeah, so it's integer. Cool. Can you guys think of anything else that would go inside of an order? Just off the top of your head. We're literally just creating these right now.
Nope.
Is everyone just checked out at this point?
Your product ID. No.
No, that's gonna be all the foreign keys are gonna be generated for us.
Product like the product item number. Man.
Okay, so maybe item number. I think the item number should be generated based on the name of the item, though, right?
Yeah, it'll probably generate it be unique, right?
Yeah, because we don't want to do that.
No,
manually.
I'm talking about the item number that is with Amazon. Everything has like a SKU number, not just a 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
like
so instead of okay, so let's put SKU.
Yeah, you could have the same thing like iPhone 6, iPhone 6, you know.
Okay, so SKU. All right, cool. So, is that good?
Yep.
I'm sorry, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep,
Okay.
that's good.
All right, cool. All right, so let's enter this, and hopefully everything crashes. Ah, wow, that's surprising. Nothing crashed. All right, so we have our order, and we have this name of item, cost, quantity. Our migration's good, and we have these two separate models now, right? And notice that they don't have any association between each other, so they have no idea the other item exists. So how do we rectify that? Not a rhetorical question.
Right there.
Yeah, so we associate them, right?
That one.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take a look at, where the hell is it? Here. Actually, let's go to, not yesterday's, but the day before yesterday. Sorry, I'm still like a little hungover too. So, okay, here. 15, it is in 15. By the way, is this helping everyone, or is it confusing you guys? Like, do you guys want me to go back anywhere? It's okay. Do you guys want me to increase the pace, decrease the pace? Tell me what's going on. I need feedback.
I'm okay. I mean,
when we change screen, can you change slower?
Yeah, do you want me to go slower?
Yeah, because when you switch screens, it's too fast.
Sorry, it's too
fast to switch screens.
Okay. My headphones I left at home. That's why I'm like trying to lower the volume too. Sorry about that. All right, sorry, I had to lower the volume. Okay, sorry. What did you say?
Oh, Is it possible if you can go over one more time because I just joined like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, I mean, I can't review like from the beginning because.
Oh yeah, you can just do it like short summary.
Okay, yeah. Let me just do a short summary. So essentially, what I did was I generated an entire Express application from scratch. So what I did was I first created a folder. From there, I have this app.js file that you generally have. I next did an npm init, and that generated this package.json file. This package.json file should have this reference to scripts, and that will start this node bin www, and this you can just copy and paste, or if you use Express Generator, it'll create this this whole structure for you, including this www. Now what actually happens is when you hit npm start, it'll actually run all of this stuff as well, and this stuff is just abstractions that you don't need in app.js. All it does is essentially help you run the server and just take care of like the HTTP stuff for you. Now, what I also did was I ran SQLize init, and that generated these SQL database configuration files along with inside models. It created this index.js, which remember, it takes all of our information and puts it inside of this object called database or DB. Then after that, I created some views, so some very basic views, main.handlebars, home.handlebars. From there, I set my app.js to connect to my customer controller, application controller, and order controller. Also required all of our information that we needed, so I just did a require. So I'm requiring these different modules from here. I also have these different modules, or these controllers that I'm going to use later on. I initialize my Express application. I am requiring the Express handlebars node module, and I'm including it inside this application here. And I'm tying it to my app. My app is again just an instantiation of the Express application. The engine that I'm going to be using is called Handlebars, and that's just my view engine, so I set that here. From there, I used a bunch of middleware to parse through any information that gets sent. Again, this is only if I'm using post, put, or delete requests, not for get requests. Then I switched from using routes to using direct controllers in order to work with the logic of how everything is going to be accessed. So this says, hey, if / comes in, then just go to application controller. / customers come in, go to customers controller. If you / order comes in, go to order controller. So these go to these different controllers. So if I went to localhost :3000, this should just hit in this order. It will go here, then it'll go to application controller, and then it'll go here, and it'll say, oh, it's a get request. So come here, oh, it's the /. Okay, then render this home, which is this, which is what happened. Then what I did was I generated some models and migrations through the SQLize CLI, and I was able to generate these two different migrations and these two models. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some associations between these models in order for the data to be able to have as many or different kinds of relationships between each other. Are we good so far?
Yes, it's very helpful. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. So now let's do some associations. Oh shit, it's 2:30? God damn. Alright. I gotta speed this up. Okay. So... This should be a good example. Okay. Yeah, let's go over this one. Actually, let me make sure about something. Give me a second here. No. Hmm. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to associate two models together. So I'm going to associate. Let's see, where is it? Don't say. So I'm going to associate this order with this customer JS. Fuck, there's so many things running. So we go to our models. So we say, let's say we want to associate manager with store. So we can just copy this because this is a has many relationship, and I can just put that into customer. So instead of manager, this is going to be, let's see, customer dot has many models dot order, and that should be it for the association. That's all we need to do to associate those two. Let me see if I need to generate a foreign key on employee. No, we don't. Okay, so that does it on its own. Alright. So now cascade puts true. Okay. I go here. So they did everything through the server.js. What we want to do is do things through the controller or the model. So why don't we open this up? And let's see how they want us to do it here. Nope, not this one. Got cat. What the fuck is a cat in? Oh yeah, we have this one. Okay, do we need to do anything else? On delete cascade, foreign key, allow no false. Belongs to model user. Oh right, if we're not using sync, then we need to do some additional stuff. Okay, so okay, let me see if this will work. Because we're using DB migrations now, so we have to update the way we're doing stuff. I think the only thing I need to update is actually foreign key, allow no false. Actually, this is fine. We don't need any of this crap. Yeah, we essentially have all this. Okay. Sorry, I just want to make sure I don't say anything wrong, and then you guys copy it, and then you guys like, why the fuck did you make me do all those horrible things? Okay, so now we have our associations. Do I do my DB create now? I think I can run DB migrate. Okay, let's see what's gonna mess up if I do this. Is it node DB migrate? Or is it SQLized DB migrate?
It's SQLized.
SQLized DB migrate?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Nice. More errors. Oh, right. So I didn't install the database. So I have to create the database. What database am I going to connect this to? Let's make a new one called e-commerce. Add it. Then let's go to config.json. Put in the correct credentials, and then put e-commerce here. Son of a bitch, why is it still not working? MySQL package menu? What the fuck? Did we not install MySQL? I'm confused as all hell. Should be through SQLize. Oh man. God damn it. Okay. Sorry, give me a second here. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so something to keep in mind, if you guys are using SQLize, I guess you have to install it manually if it's not included. Okay, cool. So that works. So now if I look at my database and I refresh, the schema should be there. Oh, sorry. No, migration files are there. Okay. So my migration files are there. But we haven't synced anything yet. Okay. Wait a minute, which one did I do this in? Yeah, create customer, migrating, migrated, create order, migrating, migrated. Okay. Okay, so our migrations are done. We don't seed. Our customers are good. And now we're going to actually add information in. Okay, so now we're finally going to get to the application. All right. So the logic was defined inside the controllers for this one. So let's say that you go to customer. So let's go to customer. And sorry, I have to like whisper because we're around a bunch of people and I don't want to ruin their time here. Customer, but find all, include models.order, function, customer, render. So now we can render some pages. Shit, finally, okay. So what I want to do is I want to be able to use a relationship between the customer and the order to show all the orders that belong to a customer. So in this case, we're doing a find all customers that have orders. So this will actually just show all customers. So let's just start off with that then. Okay. So we do customer. And what I'm going to do is just copy the templates from here. So they have this. I'm just going to copy that in there and say customer.handlebars, index.handlebars. Go into views. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it customers. And then I'm going to create index.handlebars. All right. Yeah, okay. So this is just going to be a template, and I'm going to remove some information. And I'm going to try and make it as unique as possible. So, okay, we don't need this anymore. Jesus, this is really time consuming from scratch. So if I have, I'm running my model migration. My server.js is not running in sync, is it? Oh, okay, it's not. Controllers. Sync? No, it's not. Okay. Okay, so my index.js is taking care of all my sync. Okay, got it. Let me make sure that my index.js has the same thing. Yep, okay. Alright. Alright, now let me see if I do npm start. Let's see if this shit still works. Cool, still works. Nothing's going to the database, good. Except the schema. Okay, cool. Okay, so once we ran our application, our sync went into effect. So what happened was our schema got created, and everything actually ran. So now we have our customers and we have our orders table. And these are just our migrations, so you don't have to really worry about that right now. But notice that we have our order, we have ID, name of item, cost, quantity, SKU, created at, updated at, and we have our customers. We don't have our foreign key yet because we haven't used the association to do anything with that yet. So to do that, let's see. Make sure this is correct. Customer has many, yeah. Has many, yep. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Order controller has orders, customer controllers has this. Okay. So now I'm going to do customer index, and customer index if I wanted to show all customers, getting rid of the validations. And let's take a look at customers again. Okay, so this should find all customers. We don't have any customers in there yet, so I think what we first need to do is actually create some customers. So we're going to do a bulk create. So let's take the syntax of bulk create. There has to be a bulk create. Does anyone remember where the bulk create is?
Remember what?
Where the bulk create is? Just creating a bunch of shit.
I think is that one when you're off. I thought it was. It's
Okay.
either 4 or 5.
Alright. Let me see. Holy shit, it's hot in here. Okay, it's not in this one. It's on this one?
Shouldn't it be in the migrations?
Let's see. No, migrations generate the table schema. This one.
It's gonna be.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. No, he's right. Okay. So.
Oh, it is there. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. So this is just a simple migration that allows you to just run a bunch of seeds. Okay, so let's do that. User bulk. Okay. Does anyone remember the CLI command for generating a migration?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Migrate?
You migrate, isn't it?
Yeah, but to generate the migration file. Generate migration file. Sequelize. Blah, 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 blah. Well, no, I don't want this. This is easy.
Isn't it like Sequelize create migrations? Name equals whatever, and then I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's right. Sequelize. Create migration, yep. Okay. Okay, so if I do this, and I say, I don't know. What kind of migration do I want? This is going to be bulk make customers. Did I do this wrong? Let's see if it created it. No, it didn't. Okay, so migration. That should have been it. Maybe it needs a string. Alright, let me try that again. What the fuck? Migration generate, yeah. Supervise migration create. Oh, okay, so I don't give it anything, I have to rename it in here. That's stupid. God, that's really dumb. Okay. Sorry, Rails is a lot better. Let's call this create bulk. I wonder why the associations aren't happening either. Let's see, customer. Customer. This was all name. God. Okay. What else do we have on the model? For customer. There's name and phone number. Okay. So, don't try calling this. Might not work. And then this would be, instead of user, be customer. Okay, so now if I run db migrate, this should run. Okay, so if I refresh this shit, there we go, cool. So migration actually works. Let's see if I can also create some stuff. So we actually just went over a bunch of shit. We ran over migrations, we ran over how to bulk create some information using migration files. And I also want to know why the associations aren't showing up. So that probably has to do with let's see. Let's see. I see. Okay. So we're not dynamically generating things. So what's happening is when we're saying, hey, create this, we're not also creating an associative order with the customer. So to do that, you would actually have to go to, let's see if we have a good example here. Does users have many cats? Yeah, it would be users have many cats. So this example is actually not a good example for that. So it essentially just be something like, and sorry, I'm just like running out of time here, so I'm trying to like quickly go through this, but I just realized kind of like last minute that it's not something I can like really quickly go through. But in the customers controller, instead of just doing render, you would actually do something like, you know, if someone does router dot host to customers create, then you'd run something like this, rec res, and you do something like, you know, models dot customer dot create, and you'd create an instance of like a customer, and then you'd also have that associative what is it called, order in there as well, and then that should associate the two on creation, and it should generate both of those on creation as well. So that allows you to generate both objects at the same time, and it would be dynamic as well. So getting into this, you would have to have something on the view that allows you to do so. So it'd be like an HTML form. The HTML form would then, you know, send out a message to the post at this URL. This controller would pick it up from this app.js, and then you do all that stuff inside of there. Does that make sense or no?
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Okay. Yeah, so this one, it's like, this is just finding them. If you wanted to create with an association, then you just create it. And because it's associated, where's a good example? I can't find like a good example of this. We have like 1,000 different examples, and I can't find one fucking good example. Please create. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this is like one example. So you'd have like, okay, create this user model, and then create a fandom model, and then from there work with these instances and add this fandom model to the user. And now Avril is associated with Twin Peaks, and Twin Peaks is associated with Avril. So you could do something like that. Jesus. You don't have to do all this crap, but essentially, if you were to do something like this would be enough. There's a bunch of additional things in here that they did where they added more people or more fandoms. But if you just wanted to do like one row, then you can take in like whatever they passed in and then just create that new fandom with it. Does that make sense? I'm sorry I like have to rush this, but I have to really get going on working on the stuff for my other classes now. And I know this is really boring because it was essentially just me creating things from like scratch and like a lot of like messed up things and everything. But hopefully this gives you a better overview of how to create things from scratch. Did this help, or did it just confuse you guys some more?
This was good, thank you.
Okay, I mean, you guys don't have to pretend.
Yeah,
It's okay.
that was good. I appreciate it. That actually helped. It was fast, but it was easy to catch on because we kind of went over a lot of stuff in class already. So.
Okay, yeah, hopefully I can try. I was trying to get something working like as a full-fledged application by like Monday, but it's just like the other 3 classes that I'm teaching is just like really like just digging into my time. Like if I didn't have those 3 other classes, then I could have done it by probably like Tuesday or Thursday. But yeah, it's just like really holding down my time, so sorry about that. Hopefully, I'm just going to push this up, so hopefully this can help you guys out. Jesus. so yeah, let me just push this up. Yeah, let me just remove the Git repository and just start a new one. A bunch of stuff. And let me just create a Git repo. Repository. Testing shit. Well, what is it called? Express. Test. Blah, blah, blah. Whew. Okay, so it should be pushed up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it to general. And that should be it. Alright, so I also saved the recording, so let me just